Afternoon YouTube, it's I, Danielle, better known as Danielle, a happy medium, and in this particular video topic for today's discussion, we are going to talk about self-discipline, discipline of the mind, and how that can control and have a better effect on your mediumship and you, the medium. So for many, many years, I, as a budding medium, was a medium who lived the majority of my time in the spiritual world. Why? Because of the fact that I had not learned to discipline my mind enough in order for me to know when it was better to be here to the earth or whether it was to be in the spiritual world. As if you are the medium or the Buddha medium, you will have a set of sensories that are constantly going off because you're always clicked in to the spirit world. We will never lose our connection to the spirit world once the connection is there, because the connection can never go away because of energy. And energy is always around and about us, and we can always link in as and when we want to. The only problem with this is when we're not self-disciplined enough with our mediumship or not self-disciplined with the mind. The mind can run rampant. We can end up in the spirit world because of the thought-based patterns in which is flipping the switch, which can keep us constantly living in an altered state, which is living constantly more or less in the spiritual world. There is no problem with that if you can accommodate and keep a hold of your sensory system and you can determine what is yours and what is the spirit world. But for the Buddha medium out there, or for the newbie medium with this new sensory system, you can have a hard time trying to work out what's yours and what's not yours. So this is where self-discipline comes in, and self-discipline of the mind. When you're the medium or the more Buddha medium, you should know that you should only be in the spirit world when you're working. Other than that, you should be here to the earth, living your earthly life. That does not mean to say that at any given time, instantly you can flip the switch and connect to the spirit world and bring a message forward, or you can bring forward evidence from the afterlife. It just means that there's a separation between what is the spirit world and what is yours. Because as we all know, working for the spirit world can take a lot of energy, it can take up a lot of your time, and it can also interfere with your mind there from time to time and make you what we call hypersensitive. I will be doing a video on Wednesday about hypersensitivity and how it does not do you any favors as a human or as a medium being hypersensitive. Self-discipline will stop the hypersensitivity. It will also allow you to be able to be me, Danielle, and then Danielle, the happy medium. There is two sides of me. There is me, who is Danielle, but then there's also me, who is Danielle, the medium as well. And that is because I have learned to discipline my mind and learn to make sure that my mind stays in a good place. And because of this, my mediumship is disciplined, and it is disciplined when I do my floor demonstrations, and also disciplined when I do my one-to-one work there. I do not like to be interfered by the spirit world when I am busy doing my earthly things, because ultimately I am still a human doing earthly things, and I don't really like to be constantly living within an altered state. It's not healthy for a human, and mediums need to get quickly understandable and getting this discipline into practice. So everybody's screaming, as my guides are screaming, how do we do that? The best way to discipline the mind is learn to make sure that you have your switch flipped this way. So you are constantly thinking about earthly things, because the spirit world is thought based, and that is how the connection's made. I did do a video last Friday, I think, about flipping the switch. I will put the link in the stream for you to take a look at. But basically, we need to keep our thoughts under control. This keeps the mind disciplined. By keeping the mind disciplined through the thought-based pattern, careful what you're thinking, how you're thinking, what you're thinking about. If you're thinking constantly spiritual, talking spiritual, that's all you're going to be walking yourself, flipping the switch constantly over to the spiritual world. Is my guides there? Have they left me? Have I got that connection there? Am I going to be able to do this rostrum work tonight? How's my philosophy? Is my philosophy going to be all right? You're constantly thinking over into the spirit world, where what you should be thinking is I've got everything wrapped up tonight. Trust in the spirit world. It is the hardest thing to talk about, but it is one of the things that fundamentally every medium must learn, to trust in the spirit world, that they will not let you down and that they will turn up on the night. keeping your mind disciplined, keeping it to the earth plane, unless you are going to the spirit world to work. Either one, with your guides because you need to do some bits and pieces, or because you're going to be working one-to-one or rostrum work. Other than that, you shouldn't be in the spiritual world. You should be here to the earth doing your family things. And this keeps the mind disciplined. Watch your thoughts. Watch what it is that you're pushing out there into the universe. Because ultimately, if you're not disciplined with your thoughts, you are going to be constantly living in an altered state of in the spiritual world, half here, half there. What you need to remember is this takes practice, and it's took me years, and I mean years. And even then, I don't always get it completely right. And it's a constant, what I would call techniquing, or constantly polishing and adapting my mediumship in order to keep my mediumship in a good place. But the mind will constantly run rampant if you let it, which will constantly have you in this altered state of hypersensitivity and a constant state of non-self-discipline. And you must be disciplined with your mediumship. Otherwise, the spirit world's coming forward before the Jew. You've got people around and about you that's not supposed to be there because your mind's gone to the spirit world and you're connecting to the loved ones or your guides or whatever. So you're constantly having these guides with you in the spirit world with you, and which is all right. But if you, it can also be very overwhelming for the newbie with all this extra sensitivity and this extra sort of sensory system firing off all of the time. And if you're not disciplined with the mind, you're not going to know what's yours, and you're not going to know what's the spirit world's. So learning to watch what you think, and learning to make sure that you only think spiritual or talk spiritual when you are doing anything for the spirit world. Keeping your mind disciplined, keeping it to the earth, will keep that switch over there until the time is right. But you can flip that switch at any time, as instant as this, just by the thought of thinking, I'm in the spirit world, I'm going to connect. So I hope this information has been valuable to people there. I see a lot of mediums, unfortunately, who are massively hypersensitive and constantly in an altered state of sensitivity or lack of self-discipline because of the fact of their mediumship. I am going to be doing one on the rostrum and how to be more self-disciplined with when the communicators are coming through. That will be going up probably around about Friday there for them who were asking me about the rostrum work that I did in Nottingham on Saturday night and why it was that my mediumship was so disciplined. It is because I've taught myself to be disciplined with my mediumship. I have to be, because I'm Danielle the mother, I'm Danielle the friend, I'm Danielle the lover, the partner, whatever it may be there. I am also Danielle the medium, but Danielle the medium only comes into play when I'm working for the spirit world. Other than that, I'm always here to the earth. Please do like and share the video around. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to all the new subscribers who have joined us. And I will be seeing you all on Wednesday for another upload. Take care for now.